name of the rose. Sub Rosa, the inner flower. A rose generally symbolizes love, beauty, purity, and perfection, and often represents the sublime feminine power. The thorn on a rose symbolizes obstacles or challenges one faces on the path to truth of enlightenment. The rose in the West has the same significance of the lotus in the East. In the West, the rose is closely associated with the Virgin Mary and may reflect her devotion, represented archaically as the rosary, which means crown of roses, similar to the malas, a Sanskrit word for garland. Unlike the Catholic rosary, the mala is meant to be worn when not in use. Thus, to use a mala is to both take up a holy text and be clothed in the truth. In Catholicism, the rose symbolizes the Virgin Mary and is also known as the mystical rose. This is the truth meaning of Sub Rosa, the inner flower, the Gnostic and alchemical path of sublime wisdom, and the Christ consciousness, the abode of soul, the only presence. The sacred way of the rose symbolizes the hidden feminine wisdom tradition and the way of the heart, the womb. The Sub Rosa in Latin is a phrase that means under the rose, using the rose to symbolize secrecy. This confidentiality began with her suppression due to the rise of patriarchy and was regarded as a symbol of secrecy or silence. In Hellenistic religions, Harpocrates was the god of silence to keep him from telling about the indiscretions of Venus. He was adapted from the Kemetic child Heru, the Christ consciousness, and the root of hero, with finger to lips, symbolizing silence about the deep mystery. The rosette is reserved for the truth, messianic hope, promise, and love. The rose has been a symbol of secrecy, but is truly revealing that which has been hidden within time or an illusion. In the tarot, the rose oracle represents the great mystery that is available to be uncovered and remembered, the hidden waiting to be discovered. The rose is one of the most evocative flowers, and as a result of this, has been ascribed a wealth of different meanings to its enigmatic beauty. The most common is the red rose and symbolizes love, with long-lasting roses symbolizing a love that will never die or fade. Or fade away. From ancient symbols to modern intel agency slang, it is the code for what is unsaid but understood, all beneath the rose's petals. Due to the popularity of the rose motif, it was eagerly adorned on the ceilings of rooms and windows. The rose may be noticed often in places of secret gatherings, like Masonic lodges. The name rose originates from Latin word Rosa and means long and has. The name rose originates from Latin word Rosa and signifies a long history and cultural significance. It means, as a name, the epitome of femininity and means rose and flower. This word likely evolved from a Persian word. In Sufi mystical literature, the rose is a symbol of sublime love and the beauty of soul and the unfolding of solar enlightenment. In Christian iconography, the rose came to stand for eternal paradise. The rose is the greatest mystic symbol of the West, the outer nature, just as the lotus is of the East, inner truth. Like the like the 1,000-petaled lotus, or the jewel in the heart of the lotus, the rose came to symbolize not only the radiant love of the sublime ground, Christ consciousness, but the awakened soul that has been reunited with the abode. Drawing on ancient mysteries, the rose is a central symbol of the opening of the solar chakra, the womb chakra, to the revelation and mystical experience of sublime love. The 6-petaled rose is the center of the labyrinth, who has walked the path of the labyrinth and is treading the sacred way of the rose from circumference to center, and the return journey from center to circumference, taking with one the experience of the central circle, which is direct communion with the inner reality of power and resonance of purity and love. The rose is one of the oldest symbols of sublime wisdom. The Holy Spirit, or Buddha, the inner teachers, radiating love to the personality from the invisible ground of Christ consciousness, the abode of soul. The origin of the sacredness of the rose, the unfolding reality, is addressed as the radiant star and great light. The rose was always associated with the goddess in the ancient world. The 8-petaled rose represents the path connecting consciousness with the higher invisible consciousness. The chakras, or transformers, also known as churches. It is beyond doubt that Wherever the rose grew in the ancient world, it was associated with the Great Mother or Great Goddess. Roses then may not have looked like our rose today. Maybe gardeners then knew how to grow different and more beautiful varieties to represent her adornment, shrine, and strewn on the processional way of the great ceremonies in her honor, such as the annual celebration of the sacred marriage. Outwardly, inwardly, this is the unfolding of soul, the only presence within the abode of Christ consciousness. The rose upon the cross. As an initiate of the mysteries recounts in the Golden Ass, this is a fascinating story of metamorphosis brought about by the process of awakening, resurrection, regeneration, and ascension of consciousness. In the initiate's dream, following instructions would transform him from an ass. The beast of burden is the epitome of humility, patience, and patience. In the dream, the characteristics of the ass are stubbornness, persistency, and endurance. One is to ride these to make the ego obedient to the will of truth. As the mysteries were celebrated, the rose began to evolve as the image of resurrection, and the rose garden as the sacred world or hidden dimension of the goddess. The successful rise in consciousness, one is married, the rose, without a thorn, the peerless rose, identified with the rose of Sharon in the Song of Songs. Mary is the rose. She also bears the rose, her son, the light, Christ consciousness. The rose is also the symbol of the Garden of Paradise, the return to the solar dynasty, Christ consciousness, the abode of soul, the only presence, and is therefore associated with resurrection of the risen subconscious. The sepulchre, garden, the body where Mary Magdalene met the resurrected Christ and took her to be the gardener, was seen as a reflection of the Redeemer walking in paradise, the individual consciousness. Mary, the rose, is also the rosary, and the rosary is an enclosed garden, consciousness. Truth is always beautiful and supremely wise. Madonna Intelligenza, imparting sublime teachings to the beloved. Love is exalted through such devotion to be united with the essential to one's completion. And truth is addressed as clean and sublime wisdom, symbolized by the rose, the bride of the Song of Songs. Alchemy and the rose, the final stage of alchemy, the ruby bow, the heart chakra, the womb, opens like a rose to reveal a foundation of light which overflows with love of the constant companion.